Power max!
Anime with overpowered main characters has its own charm for anime enthusiastic. Even an ordinary story can be interesting for that reason. Some of these anime have powers that they hide and many people don't know about them. Here are top 10 anime where main character overpowered, but pretends to weaks and surprise everyone. Let's just talk about this top anime list, let's go. Kemono Jihen. Kabane is a mixed-blood child, descended from a demi-human and a ghoul many people refer to as a hybrida. He lives in a small village without knowing who his real parents. Many people around him belittle and shun him for no apparent reason, and nicknamed him Dorotobo, because of his famous smell, who often spends his time cleaning fields, puddles of mud and carcasses of livestock. Even the adoptive mother of Kabane tried to hire a hitman to get rid of him. Fortunately, in the right hands of Inugami, Kabane managed to use his power towards goodness as a new employee of the Inugami's Kemono Detective Agency. Kabane has extraordinary strength, and his endurance is above average. Even he is difficult to kill because he has a very fast regeneration, even if his head is cut off. Besides that, Kabane also still hasn't released his true ability. He still wears the kidney stone necklace to suppress his lust because of his half-ghoul descent. Death March to the Parallel World Rhapsody. This anime tells about the adventures of a programmer in another world that is exactly like the game world he is developing. It all started when a new employee came and named Suzuki Ichiro, working continuously to fix system problems in a game. One of the RPG games is having problems, where the players have difficulty when they first play the game. Suzuki then suggested adding strong skills to each character, so that novice players could take the game to the next level. But when Suzuki finished his work, he suddenly entered the game world. In that world, Suzuki had the name Sato, the same as the name of the character he used when fixing system errors. At first he was desperate because he was directly confronted by a swarm of high-level enemies, but because of the previously proposed skill, one could easily defeat almost every enemy in a single strike. The impact of this incident made Sato, who was initially low-leveled, immediately gain a maximum level. He thought that his current strength was on a par with that of the Demon King. In order to avoid the attention of many people in that world, he decided to keep his level and hidden his abilities. Gunjo no Magmel tells the story of the emergence of an island in the middle of the Pacific called Magmel, which is where the island has natural resources that are tempting for mankind. However, if anyone comes there, it will cost a lot of victims, because the island is inhabited by wild monsters. Therefore it takes a special person to handle the monsters. They call it the angler. Inu is one of the legendary anglers who is often underestimated because of his small in stature, and 16-year-old he still acts his age sometimes. He is also human, which makes him vulnerable to guilt tripping. But behind of that, Inu possesses the power of lact, meaning he can create any object so long as he understands their internal mechanics and material composition, as well as manipulate them via some kind of psychokinesis. Having born on Magmel, he has greatly enhanced physical abilities, enabling him to perform feats such as moving so fast he appears to be teleporting. Even many people think he can kill monsters without touching them. Inu is someone who takes advantage of given opportunities to satisfy his own needs. Dorohedoro. In this anime, the world is divided into 3 different realms, where one of them is a place for magicians and strange creatures that mutate due to the effects of magic. This anime story focuses on a man named Kaiman and a woman named Nikaido. Kaiman is a reptile-headed man who is experiencing amnesia. Kaiman can only think that the witch has turned her head into a reptile, so Kaiman and Nikaido go on a journey to hunt down the witch who has changed her head. While Nikaido is a restaurant owner who is skilled at serving food. Besides that, she is also strong enough in fighting with only her bare hands. She can easily defeat his opponents. Although considered strong enough, but actually Nikaido still hides her true strength. Nikaido is actually a magic user who secretly hides her magic power and only uses martial skills when combat on fight. The reason was because all this time he had been helping Kaimen to hunt down witches, and has established good chemistry between them. I don't know what Kaimen will do if he knows the truth that she is also a magician. Hero Return. The storytelling about return of the first superhuman in the history of mankind, who came to fight to save the world. The superhuman is known as Zero, as the first source human as well as the strongest superhero. Zero became popular in all circles, but no one he recognized because since the beginning of his appearance Zero never revealed his true identity. After the monsters were defeated and the world returned to peace, suddenly Zero disappeared without a trace. 5 years later the profession as a superhero is growing rapidly, while Lin Jiao in actually fact is Zero, who has disappeared for a long time, become a jobless and burden to his younger sister. Apart from being invited to join by a novice hero named Zhang Zhen, Lin Ji's financial problems also forced him to register in the Hero Association. In the ability test he got a perfect score while in the written test he got the lowest score. Although he has no serious intention to become a hero in a world of peace, but because the root of evil comes from the leader of the Hero Association, Lin Jia must be fight to quell all the evil that occurs. Demon Slayer. One of the main character in this anime, who stole the attention of Demon Slayer fans. You can call Zenitsu Agatsuma. A character who looks pussy and have a problem with panic attack, often becomes a burden on Tanjiro and friends. But who would have thought that when Zenitsu went into his unconscious mode, which accidentally happened when he was into fainting, it was overwhelmed the enemy. Lightning's unpredictable speed and added slashes from lightning breathing can defeat enemies with instant kills. The lightning breathing technique originally only had 6 forms. However, Zenitsu developed the 7th form and used it against his senior Zenitsu, who had become the 6th upper moon demon who named Kaigaku. Mob Psycho. Kageyama Shigeo is an ordinary middle school student with the nickname Mob. Because he does not have special skills he often becomes a laughingstock for his friends at school. But behind all his shortcomings he hides extraordinary psychic powers, but Mob never uses his powers to attack others. He only shows his psychic powers when dealing with evil spirits. Mob makes use of his abilities by working as a paranormal assistant. At first he was only carrying out his duties to help people who were harassed by mystical creatures, until eventually he realized how terrible the power he had. When his emotions are disturbed then he loses consciousness and cannot control his own powers. Therefore, despite having unlimited psychic powers, it would be dangerous to want to live a normal life like the others. The disastrous life of Seiki. To the average person, psychic abilities might seem a blessing for Kusuo Seiki. However, this couldn't be further from the truth. Gifted with a wide assortment of supernatural abilities ranging from telepathy to X-ray vision and unlimited power, he finds this so-called blessing to be nothing but a curse. As all the inconveniences his powers cause constantly pile up, all Seiki aims for is an ordinary, hassle freedom with a life where ignorance is bliss. He even had to temper his strength by wearing a strange antenna on top of his head every day. Unfortunately, the life of a psychic is far from quiet. Though Seiki tries to stay out of the spotlight by keeping his powers a secret from his classmates, he ends up inadvertently attracting the attention of many odd characters, such as the empty-headed Riki Nendu and the delusional Shun Keidu. Forced to deal with the craziness of the people around him, Seiki comes to learn that the ordinary life he has been striving for is a lot more difficult to achieve than expected. One Punch Man. Anime with an overpowered story background always falls on One Punch Man. The main character of this anime is quite crazy. He is tired of fighting all his enemies because everything will end with just one punch. It all started when Saitama became an ordinary office worker, who suddenly had the desire to be a superhero when he protected a little boy with a strange chin from attacked by the crab monster. After that he practiced desperately, honing physically and mentally to the extreme level. Until he becomes a hero with a strange bold style who can defeat monsters with just one punch. With his appearance, it is not surprising that he is often underestimated by everyone, even his own enemies. When he entered the Hero Association, he was considered a cheat with an extraordinary ability limit during the physical examination assessment, and he was classified as a low-class hero. Even so, Saitama is still frightening for his opponent, and few people know about the fact that Saitama is overpowered. The daily life of the immortal king. Set in an urban area where people who have spiritual power are commonly called cultivators. Wang Ling was a cultivation user. Ever since he was a baby already possessed enormous spiritual energy. Even when he was a child he had managed to save the city by defeating the demon lord. But the incident was not known to others because he prefers to hide the truth and delegate all public attention to others. When Wang Ling was a teenager he was often in situations that required him to use force, after which he erased the memories of anyone who had seen his greatness. Because of that, he was underestimated by people. Wang Ling's friendship with several friends also seemed to just happen without knowing who was the real Wang Ling. At the end of the episode, Wang Ling uses up all his strength, because he was triggered by anger, due to which Sun Rong was killed by Jiang by releasing her spirit. He was unable to control his strength and attacked brutally. Here we can see the potential power of Wang Ling. Besides his overpowered attack, he can also turn back the time he wants to revive Sun Rong. This anime characters were overpowered like a god.